alive and well. Okay. I have my script here. Thank you, Justine, for sending this. And so that we're all following the rules, let me just read this to you. In accordance with the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Executive Order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, we are conducting this meeting virtually. The Cemetery Committee is conducting this meeting December 1st, 2021 at 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Zoom platform in accordance with the town's policy directive and guidelines issued on April 1st, 2020 and amended on May 7th. If you are recognized, please state your name and address, and the meeting is being recorded. Okay. So I think the first thing we do is a call to order. I, Leo Carroll, hereby call this meeting to order. All committee votes will be taken via roll call. We will start with an attendance roll call of committee members. When I announce your name, please reply. Brian Davidson.
Present.
Rebecca Purcell. Not present, I guess. Okay, Rod Rydell.
Present.
And Jerry Susie.
Present.
And I see Rebecca just joined, so.
Present.
Okay, all right. Good, okay, so we're already up to A3, which is the deed signing. And Tish, I'm gonna be going away on Saturday, so I'll try to get down to you in the next few days to sign those.
Yeah, I have them. I just didn't have time to find you today, so I was gonna find you tomorrow.
Okay, I got a big wood pile out there. Just look around. I'm in it.
Okay, I'll look for the
All
stuff.
right.
Yes.
Okay, and then, okay, review of calendar, future proposed meetings. We talked last week about not having the January meeting, and everybody seemed to be in agreement on that. So our next one is scheduled for February 2nd, 2021. Okay, next thing is approval of minutes from the November 3rd meeting. And here's a note to me. Please approve minutes from the November 3rd meeting. Any comments? I will entertain any comments before approval. No spelling mistakes or anything? Good Lord, this is gonna be quick, folks. All right. Okay, roll call for approval. Brian Davidson.
So before we do that, Leo, maybe we can just make a motion to approve the minutes for November 3rd, 2021.
That's a great idea. Okay, so am I supposed to say that? Does someone want to make a motion to approve this?
I think I just made the motion to accept it, so I think we just need a second, Leo.
Hello, let's get a second from somebody.
Second.
Okay, all right, Rebecca,
Rebecca.
God bless you. All right, roll call for approval. Brian Davidson,
Approve.
Rebecca Purcell,
Approved.
Rod Rydell,
Approved.
Jerry Susie,
Aye.
Leo Carroll, approved. Good Lord, we're just flashing on this one. Okay, discuss possible action items on agenda. D1, the CPW staff report, operations maintenance update. So Aaron, we're at your disposal, sir.
Good evening, everyone. Aaron Mclaughlin, School Highway and Ground Superintendent. A couple updates for us. During the month of November, we had 2 full burials and 6 cremations. At Sleepy Hollow, we also sold 10 single grave lots and 1 cremation lot. A couple updates on some projects we've been working on. All of the signage that we had discussed ordering and installing, that is in. We also worked with our engineering group and a third-party engineering consultants at HSI to complete the survey on the knoll for the columbarium. So that is complete, and I have that survey in hand. And I don't know if I am able to share my screen. I am, so I'm going to try to share my screen quickly here just to show everybody what that kind of looks like. Can everyone see that?
Yeah.
We
Yep.
have
Yeah.
the survey. This is the survey that was completed, and I can share it with committee members. And this is completed by HSI, and this is the Knoll area. North is in this top direction on the document. You can see the stairs that are over there near the driveway, kind of between the driveway and the wooded area, the trail here through the woods. So that was completed for, as we discussed at a previous meeting. Our engineering group, we've been working with them on the Stonewall inventory and assessment, and we've actually have a contract with Wright Pierce, the engineering firm that we work with in TPW regularly. They were out at the site a couple of weeks ago and worked with Tish and our town engineer to collect data and inspect the actual stone walls. And they're putting together their document, the report for us. So I hope to have that next month or so to share that with the rest of the group. Crews have done some repairs to some of the stone walls, have been able to as well. They're allowed in the last month as well. Continue to work with Boston Computer Scanning to update the mapping, and we're trying to finish that. We're trying to work on this CAD file that our engineering group is working on that, working with the folks from that company to try to finalize that and get that published. And then also I can let Tish give an update on the Veterans Day. We had a Veterans Day event at the cemetery. Tish, you want to talk about that?
It was nice to have it back. We didn't have it last year, so it was nice to have it. And a couple of you were there, which was nice. Hope you enjoyed it. It's a really nice ceremony, but all went well. Everything was successful. Cemetery looked good, except that it was windy. Had some leaves fall, but it had looked good the day before, so it was okay. Yeah, but it was good. Successful event.
Thank you, Tish.
Just a comment, Tish, the cemetery looked beautiful that day. It was really very moving. As the cannons fired off and people were retiring the flags, and you'd see the mist and the smoke go over the cemetery. It looked very, very, very beautiful. So
Great ceremony.
I know you were
Yeah.
aching for every leaf that was out of place, but
Yes.
it's like the gardens. The people who visit only see the beauty. The gardener only sees the things that need to be done. So
Okay, Aaron, I would also like to, is there more?
That's all I have, Will. Thank you.
Okay, I'd like to comment. I see that Einstein really hitting it hard this week, getting those leaves off, and it is looking very good. They're doing a good job.
Thank
And
you.
also I see that, someone put some mortar on those stones that were loose on the stone wall. So thank you for that. And does anyone have any comments for Aaron?
I do, just
Brian.
Leo. Yeah, Aaron, could you just maybe send that report to Jerry and I, who are doing the subcommittee for the columbarium, the engineering report?
Yeah, I'll send that. So the only thing that I received was was a survey. So I will send that survey to you via email.
Thanks. And maybe we could set up a time, just, I don't know if it would be helpful, but just to walk over the ground for, 20 minutes or so with the survey or just
Absolutely.
and Tish would be great too, just to have kind of your views of, the positioning and what you guys are kind of thinking. So maybe we could just set that up in the near future.
Absolutely. Yeah, maybe I think it'd be good, Brian, to look at that before we get snowfall on the ground too. So I don't know if you have, I can maybe we can connect tomorrow and try to set up some time for next week. That works.
Yeah. I don't know about Jerry. I definitely have time during the day, just to, I know you guys are so busy, but just to fit it within the, 8 to 5 work day for you guys. Just let me know and give some times and I'll do my best to fit it in. So
Okay. I'll send you both an email tomorrow.
great. Thank you.
Any other questions for Aaron or comments? Seeing none, let's proceed. We don't have to take a motion on this and a vote. So the next item is a petition for the purchase of 8 single-family graves by the Zhao Yu family. This will need a motion and a vote. So Tish, can you give us an update on this?
Yeah, they want to purchase, well, they're getting 2 graves for themselves and the rest are for family members.
Does anybody have any issue? Well, wait a minute. Do I have to ask? Does anybody have any issues or want to discuss this? Okay, then assuming that, can I get what am I asking for, David, Brian?
Sure, I'll make a motion.
Oh,
that-
yeah.
That we accept the petition for the purchase of 8 single graves by the Zhou and Zhu family.
Second?
Yeah, I would second that.
Great, okay, so here we go, and let me, okay. Roll call vote for approval. Brian Davidson,
Aye.
Rebecca Purcell,
aye,
Rod Rydell,
Aye.
Jerry Susi,
Aye.
Leo Carroll, aye. We're a really quite an agreeable group and we're just zipping through this thing today. It's pretty impressive. Okay. Next, a discussion update on Friends of Sleepy Hollow Cemetery anniversary celebration. And Rebecca, can you give us that update?
yes. And I had to make notes because I wanted to make sure it was clear. The planning committee had decided to rescind the application for permit to host the event at the cemetery as part of that celebration. And I know that Kevin and not Kevin, but sorry, Leo, Aaron, and I know about it. You were copied on it, on the letter that he sent to the town manager. He did want me to make it clear that he appreciated he being as part of the planning committee appreciated the unanimous support that the cemetery committee expressed, and also by Aaron and his staff. I think he was referring to Justine, because that was much appreciated. The problem, or I shouldn't say problem, they did decide, they being the celebration planning committee, reviewed everything that they that was going to be required for this, both the current, pending, and unforeseen future conditions for the event at the cemetery. They decided to, as I mentioned, rescind the permit and to explore other options as they're working with the Friends of the Sleepy Hollow Cemetery Board. The thinking right now is to use a private venue for a celebratory event. Now, the celebration committee will be sending out the annual appeal shortly, and so there will be advance notice of what their plans are. I know the committee itself is meeting next week with the board, so there will be more coming. But to me, it made sense based on what they had said, that it was a sensible thing to plan something else. And it's totally appropriate, and they're very comfortable with that. So that's the word. That is my.
Okay, Rebecca, does anybody have any questions for Rebecca? No?
Excuse
Okay,
me,
so,
Leo?
yes,
Excuse me. Yeah, I'm sorry, I missed about the first 30 seconds or so of that, but I got the upshot. But how did you start?
How what?
So I just missed the first part of what you were describing.
Yeah.
So if I put it together, the Friends submitted an application to the town manager and then withdrew
Yeah.
it?
And yes, they've withdrawn it based on what was required. There were several, and I'm speaking anecdotally now, but they would have had to have a substantial financial outlay to cover the police department, the cemetery staff payroll,
All right.
let's see,
Okay,
EMT
yeah.
and so on and so forth. So it was,
Sure.
it just didn't make sense to them to do that,
Didn't make sense up front.
especially where they have
Okay,
other
thank you.
options.
Sure.
So-
Thank you for repeating that for my benefit. Thank you.
Certainly.
Okay, thank you, Rebecca. Okay, the next item is D4, discussion, creation of landscaping and groundkeeping subcommittee. And I must say, this will probably result in needing a motion to create the subcommittee along with approving members and a vote. So I think Mr. Rod Rydell is taking this one.
Thank you, Leo, and thanks to all the members. So over the last few months, I've been walking through the cemetery, attempting to identify areas that might need additional resources beyond what we can normally provide for either preventative maintenance or for repair. And because I was starting to do this, to do these walks with other members of the committee, Aaron counseled me quite appropriately that because it was 2 committee members or more, this was essentially in effect a subcommittee. And so we talked about what we ought to do. And rather than being a committee of 1, I'd like to have people to talk with. So what I proposed to Aaron is that we put the formation of a subcommittee on the agenda today. I'd like to make a motion to create a landscape and ground cover subcommittee with the mission of identifying areas and items in the cemetery that require additional resources beyond which we can provide at this time for either repair or preventative maintenance. That's the proposal. And I propose at this time that I'll be on that subcommittee and that Leo Carroll will be on the subcommittee. So that's the proposal. Should I convert that into a motion, Leo? Unless people want, I guess people need to discuss it before we do.
I think
You
you
know,
have the
Rod-
motion first and then the discussion, right?
We make the motion and then the discussion?
Yeah,
Rebecca?
I think that's usually how it goes.
Okay,
Okay.
so let me move that we form a subcommittee on landscape and ground cover for the cemetery, consisting of myself and Leo Carroll, with the purpose of identifying and monitoring areas and items in the committee, in the cemetery that require additional resources beyond what we currently have for repair and or preventative maintenance. That's the motion. Now, is there any discussion?
Actually, it should be a second.
Oh,
So
Okay.
I'll second Rod's motion and just kick off the discussion. I can't think of 2 guys better to take the lead on this and explore. I mean, obviously everybody loves grass, but sometimes it's just not viable. So I think that you guys, the explorations that you've done for ground coverings to date have been fantastic, and look forward to see what the results are. So that's my own point.
Thanks, Brian. The thing is, Rod is a smart guy. I'm good looking, but Rod is the smart guy on this one. We're gonna do something, I'm sure, but it's a challenge. This thing is gonna be a challenge, and I thought it was gonna be easy, but the reason nobody's doing much about it, because there don't seem to be a lot of answers right now to what type of vegetation is getting changed by the increase in temperature and so forth. So it's going to be challenging. And I think under Rod Rydell's leadership here, we're going someplace. That's what I'm thinking. He's looking at me scratching his head. Good Lord. Okay. Okay. So did we take a vote or not? Did we? No.
You need a vote.
Justine, I'm looking at you. You guide me through this. Okay. So has someone made a motion?
Yep,
Rob
you made
made
a
the
motion and
motion.
seconded.
Brian seconded. Okay, so here we go, folks. I feel like an auctioneer rather than a chairman with this stuff. Okay, here we go. Brian Davidson,
Aye.
Rebecca Purcell,
Aye.
Rod Rydell,
Aye.
Jerry Susie,
Aye.
Leo Carroll, aye. Slam dunk, folks. Okay, so that is item D4. We'll move on now to item D5, and that is committee members' comments relative to issues contained in this agenda or feedback received from residents since the last meeting.
Well, I know people are noticing our signs that I think we had put up there along the trail. There's been some commentary about that. So I think that was a great thing. The signs look good. I saw them posted out on the Reformatory Bridge trail, and then also kind of right there at the bridge. And it looks really, really great. So glad to see those up.
And thank Tish for digging the holes and putting them in. That was the hard part. All right, and any other, Rod? Yeah,
You know, I just wanted to give an update to the committee. And for the February committee, I'm going to try and come with a bit of a report and a proposal for what items would be on the focus for the budget, for the landscaping budget that's in town for next year. That is the existing department budget, but that's giving me a couple of months to talk with Aaron and Tish and review this with Leo before we come to the committee for a broader discussion. There is one other item, just want to alert the committee. I think there are two items that are going to lend themselves to local grant proposals. One is some tree work in a small, well-defined area that is adjacent to the Melvin Memorial. I'm going to call it the Melvin Hollow. It's about a 100 by 75 foot rectangle that's just adjacent. It's surrounded by roadways. There are some dead trees that need to be removed, some other trees that need to have their branches pruned, and some trees that could be placed there. And what I'm going to propose in February is that we approach the Friends of Sleepy Hollow to see if they will provide a grant to cover all the tree work in I'm calling the Melvin Memorial Hollow for reference right now. So that's something as an advance notice to let you know about. The other item is that I think this landscape committee is going to also extend itself to cover metal, and by that I mean the gates and the fence in town that surrounds the old burying ground, the South burying ground, and that's something I think that is well defined to have the metal of the gates have preventative maintenance, repair, special painting, and for a grant from the community preservation group here. So I'll work with Aaron and with Tish to try and identify somebody who might give us a professional estimate for what work would need to be done on each of the gates on Sleepy Hollow Cemetery and for the knoll. As it turns out, there's a couple of pieces of the gate at the knoll that require preventative maintenance and repair as well. And then, of course, the fence at the South burying ground that lines on Main Street there. So if we can, we'll try and get all that together to put together a grant proposal for community preservation for consideration next year. And then maybe we could get it, if we are successful, we could get that work contracted and done in 2023. So those are a couple of the coming attractions for this committee. And the last point is just like Brian and Jerry take care of the agendas for the subcommittee for the columbarium. I've told Leo, and this is why he's extolling my virtues. I've told him that I would take care of preparing the agendas and the minutes so that we stay in compliance. And Justine has been very nice about providing a template for me. But Justine, that's all you need to do. I've made contact with the town clerk's office, so I'll wind up sending the subcommittee agendas directly to the town clerk. I'm happy to copy you on it, but you have to take on the responsibility of submitting it. So we've got a system in place. Okay.
Great, thank you.
Sure.
I'd like to make a comment, and I'd like to ask Tish, actually, I know those gates are, from a distance, they look okay, but when you get close up to them, they're actually rotted at the bottom because enough salt has been on them over the years to cause some problems. And I also noticed that they don't close any longer. Can you give us a little history on what happened to some of those things, Tish, and why? I know it doesn't seem like much to just paint it, but I understand it has to be, metal plated. There's some type of process that goes into repainting those types of gates, and I just don't know what it is, but I'm sure you do.
Had the gates done about 18 years ago, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
This year, I think it was probably about 15 years ago, and we painted them with some kind of process where they like electrify the metal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They probably should have been sandblasted first, but they weren't. We hired the low bid company. He did okay on the first 3 gates. The second gate, the Pritchard gate, he did the worst on, but that's because he lost his generator and he started to use a car engine. And he just didn't do as good a job there. So that one looks the worst out of all 4 of them.
Okay.
Yeah, but he did do some kind of electroplate something paint.
Yeah.
But he didn't. The company we want to hire was more expensive, and we couldn't hire them, so we hired him. And that's what we got.
That's and thank you very much. And that kind of the conundrum we have with the procurement system that we have in town is it seems like low bidder is the only way to go. And I'm wondering, Aaron, is there some way we can get to put out requests for proposals rather than an invitation to bid? Because, if, and I don't know, I'm just speculating, but Tish, it seems to me that if you look into the background of that company, it probably would have shown them, they wouldn't have been able to do the job the right way. It's a dicey subject, and I worked in it my career before I retired, and the hard part is to get the procurement systems to accept requests for proposals rather than invitation to bid. And Aaron, can you help us on this at all?
Yeah, so it really depends on the type of work, construction work, any type of construction, it really has to be an invitation bid. You cannot do request for proposals. If it's a service that's rendered, then we have the option. You can justify why we're choosing proposals over invitation for bid. But I think a really important piece of it that, I think really important piece of any type of a request for proposal, request for quotations is really having a strong set of specifications and minimum requirements. If you can do a really good job of preparing those and it will filter out anybody that's unqualified to do work, any type of work. And in public works nowadays, we have an experienced team of professionals that have a lot of experience with procurement. We have a lot of templates that we've used from other projects that have been successful. We work closely with the townhouse and the procurement department of the townhouse for every solicitation that goes out. So I think that, if we were to put it out nowadays, it'd be a much tighter procurement process, if you will, without going into that. Too much detail. And I don't know what was done in the past or how it was handled for that specific project, but we've had some really successful procurements in public works over the last, the years that I've been with the town, and the team does a good job of all around of hiring some really good contractors lately. So
Okay, great. That's, we're entering this, with this ground cover thing. How do I put this? I've talked to a lot of people about it, and everyone seems to have a different opinion on the solution here. And so if we do things where we need some advice, it'd be good to have a request for proposals rather than an invitation to bid. So that's what I'm leading up to. It's and I know exactly what you're saying there, and I used to be in this game myself, but when you're dealing with a service item, then it makes sense to have the invitation to bid rather than request for proposal. So those are just some thoughts on that. But are there any more comments before we get to the next? These are committee meeting. Anyone more in the committee who has a comment? And then we can go on to item D6, which is public comments. And, Linda, I guess you're not really part of the public, are you? You're kind of like the den mother watching the Cub Scouts here, as far as I can see.
Yeah, I'm part of the public too. But thank you all for all that you're doing and the progress you're making and setting up your subcommittee and so forth. And I couldn't underscore Aaron's comments more about the successes and the details of the specifications, because I see that across all kinds of departments and other projects that are going on. I did have a question about the subcommittee, and will that be meeting virtually or in person, or?
There will be times when we meet virtually, but most of the time we'll be meeting in person, because most of it will be on-site inspection of various elements in the cemetery.
Terrific. I'm just asking so that that's clear on your agendas when they're posted, so that people will know how to access. I'm sure you've already thought of that, but it just was a question that came to mind. And so we'll see. I hope to see everybody at the special town meeting on January 20th, since your next meeting won't be till February. And in the meantime, stay well and have good holidays. And thanks for all you're doing.
Okay, thank you, Linda. And did you want to talk a minute about the special town meeting?
Well, it's around the middle school building project. And it will, as of now, given the COVID situation, it will be in person at the high school. And, precautions are going to be taken to make sure that there's ample physical distance between people. So we may be in several different rooms at the high school, but they'll all be connected virtually so that everybody feels like they're at the same meeting. So that's what I would say about that.
All right, thank you. Yeah, is it too late to get a rider on this so that we can get about 5% of that budget for the cemetery? Only kidding. All right, okay, I shouldn't do that at these public meetings because it's recorded. I'm sorry. I apologize in advance. So if there's no more public comments and no more committee comments, then I think we can adjourn this meeting. I will entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting.
I'll make a motion.
Oh.
I'll be happy to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Do we have a second? Going once, going twice.
Second.
All right, Rod. Okay, so let me see now. Roll call vote of committee members to adjourn the meeting. Okay, Brian Davidson,
Aye.
Rebecca Purcell,
Aye.
Rod Radell,
Aye.
Leo Carroll. Oh, no, Jerry Susi.
Aye.
Leo Carroll, aye. God bless you, meeting adjourned. And thank you, everybody.
Happy holiday.
Thank you.
Bye.